Okay. I'm a trendsetter. Ay, I'm a trendsetter. I'm a trendsetter. Okay. Let go. Hey, okay, I know I'm here to stay. Counting on my wins, so I can't play it safe. Try to go against us, get you out.
Alright, I got the, here's the new distributor. Look at that, how much difference it is from that. And the module and everything's in it. What a cool little setup.
Like a little baby.
So what we're going to do is, I'm going to do the, I'm just going to take all these off. We'll worry about them later. That way it's not in our way. Yeah, that thing is so, I better loosen that distributor up. Let me grab a regular. Hopefully you guys can see in there. Hang on a second. Okay. Let me bump this and get our number one. I got a different button. Pretty cool. And it was only $13 from Harbor Freight. Much better cabling, much better clamps. That's where I got the last one, but they must have just come out with this one. Maddox. It's made by Maddox. It's a really nice one.
Oh, sure, sure.
All right, let's get this bumped over. Right in there. Okay. I'm probably going to end up changing this fuel filter again. I just don't like where it's at. You can't get to the, you got to move it around in order to get to this bolt. I just don't like, I like everything to have a, you know, like access. Yeah, it's even tough for me to get to it. I think I had that off when I was messing with it before, the fuel line. I'm almost sure I did. Alright, so we know one is facing towards the corner of that fender and the cow panel. Okay, now I want to figure out where I want to put this. Let's see. That module. Boy, this is so much nicer, man. Yeah, I'm definitely going to move that because that's where we're going to want our... Let me take that off as a matter of fact. Because that's where I want that module sitting, right in that area. The barbs on this are really good. Okay. Set that right there for a second. So we want number one to be right. So if I drop it here, I'm trying to see where all my options are. It's almost down, so I don't know if even if I can put it. No, we don't want it there. So we definitely want it right there, somewhere in this area. Let me see something. I think this is all the way down right there. I know we're not, oh yeah, we got plenty of adjustment. I just didn't want to bump it and the fuel's going to shoot out, so I'm trying to just see where our, let me take these off so we don't, this microphone, the magnet on it sticks to everything. Okay, so let me, man, that's going to be so nice. He's got a ton of room now, look at that. I mean, he can put at least another inch of a, so probably a 12 inch, or I'm not sure what the one is. So, in other words, we could really put number one right here. I don't want to do that. Let me see here. Let's go, because I know, let's see what this does if we set it here. So that would be this one. That would be that one right there. Yeah, that might be okay there. We'd have a ton of adjustment if I left it right there and started one right there. I may do that. The wires should all reach. I put that on there right. It's got so many different, there, right there. Okay. So number one would be this one right there. Yep, right back on this one. It gives us plenty. We can try it there. If anything, we'll just have to relocate it and bump it again. No big deal. Then we can run our wires in through there like that. Yeah, that's going to work out good. Okay. I'm going to do the wires real quick. All I'm going to do is I just look up the firing order on the internet. And I think this is clockwise. And it shows me the number of the cylinders. If I remember right when I'm editing, I'll show a picture of it, the one I use. Any Ford small block, when you Google it, then it'll give you clockwise what's the firing order, and it shows you the front of the motor on all your firing order and stuff. You can do that for any car. So I'm going to get that far, and then I'll bring you guys back. That's even going to fit. So we're good there. Okay, let me get that far, and I'll bring you guys back. All right, so we got this in here. There's so much more room.
Aerobics in here. So many activities.
I ended up putting one back over here and bumping it around. I put the fuel line back on it so it wouldn't pump fuel, but I did end up bumping it to get it back here, and we got plenty of movement. I mean, just all sorts of movement. Right now, I'm going to take you guys back to the other shop. I'm making a bracket to go back here. I'll show it to you for the coil to mount on, because these two, hang on, if you can see those two screw holes right there on the intake, the coil is not going to fit there. So I had to make a bracket to go from there to the intake over here in the back corner, and then it has a spot on the back for the coil to mount. So let me take you over there and show you. Give me a second. Okay, here's the bracket. Let me show you the intake is here. Here's the two screw holes I showed you, and then here's the cross where it's going to bolt to the intake. So they're both here and on these two. Right here is where the coil is going to mount. Obviously it's going to be flipped this way. This bracket here, or I mean this part of the bracket, we're going to try to bend it across here and slant it back down towards the back of the motor, back here where the tranny is, so the coil actually shoots up, you know, this way at an angle. So I'm going to take you back to the other computer there so we can get this thing cut out and see how it works out. Give me a few. Alright guys, we got it ready in the computer. Put our little boot on, keep all the stuff down as much as we can. Alright, let's get her cut and see if we got it right. See how much that boot keeps that stuff down? Alright guys, for now I'm just going to keep the camera where it's at for a second. When I go to put it on and all that, we'll do it the right way. Man, I think we're sitting really nice. Let me get a bolt to put in this part here. That way I can set the coil on top back here, and then I'm going to try to get the other camera in here for you guys to see this. It looks pretty cool. And then we'll know how much to bend it. So give me a second. Alright guys, let's try this. Check that out, man. I mean, it fit beautifully. I can't really see what I'm showing you guys, but it's really, really nice. Let's try to set this on the intake. I can't see. Hang on. I'm going to cut that light off for a second. Try to get some kind of a visual. I think that's it. Alright. So this coil is going to set on here. Technically we could leave it alone. But what I want to do is I want to bend that down a little bit like that back of that bracket. So we'll stick it in our brake or something, and we'll just bend that down some so the coil is actually just shooting up just a little bit, and that'll make that really nice there. That's going to work out so cool. And then of course we'll bring our coil wire around and plug it in the middle. That's all I had was the yellow. I didn't want to buy a whole new set just to buy a coil wire, so we're going to take this cloth tape and wrap this whole thing up, and because I just made this for it. So, and it's good wire. It's leftover from my boat. It's the 8mm XL wire. So let's go over to their shop and bend that. Alright guys, this is not going to take much, so instead of trying to set it up in that in our machine back there, the press, I'm going to try to get an idea here. Hopefully we put it in the right spot. I think we will. Try to get at a little bit of an angle. Go down a little bit. And we don't want a ton. Alright, let's see if we can do this here. I'm going to take a little bit at a time here. Woo! If you can see though, that might be enough. I'm going to go check it and I'll be back. Or actually, I'll just bring you guys back there after I finish the bend. But this is what I'm going to do till I get the final bend in it. So give me a few. Alright guys, I got it cleaned up. I pre-fitted on the intake. Made sure all the holes was lined up. I cleaned them out with a drill bit real quick. Painted it. Now we'll just let it dry up. Oh, and the bend, I didn't have to bend it no more. It was perfect. I guess when you're good, you're good. So, all right, I just want to show you that part there. It's drying. All I did was DA it, hit it with a little Windex to clean it after I cleaned the holes out, and then just sprayed it. So as soon as it dries, I'll bring you back. Okay, got the bracket all done. Looking pretty cool. I found some carriage bolts, so they locked in from the top there. Tightened them up real nice on the bottom. They was a little long, so I chopped off the rest of the thread. So anyways, we're gonna go back now in the car and bolt this down to the intake, and that turned out really nice. It really did. So let's go over there. Let's go over into the shop and get this thing mounted up. Be right back. I hope I got that camera set up decent enough. I gotta be real careful. I got a hernia belt on today. I've flared my hernia up. I've had a couple operations and it came back again. And now I don't know what I'm gonna do because it puts you down for a while. It's a bad deal, no matter how I look at it. I gotta try to be careful here, not overdo it. And anything is overdoing it. You don't gotta do much and you've overdone it. But I should have been wearing my belt all along. I might have to lift this up first. Yep. May even need a longer, no, that's good. Now the other, let's see if I can get in over there. I'm gonna try to move this real quick. All right. Trying to see where I'm at here. Sorry about, I hope that's a good enough camera, but I'll take you around to see it anyways after we get it all on here. The other way. I got no room. Put my big paws in there.
That big paw of yours.
Let's try this. I can't get. Come on. That line is right in the way. I don't want to take this carburetor bracket off just to start this one little bolt. Let me try to start it first. I'm right there on it. Come on, get in there. Ah, come on. I had them all in there yesterday. Real easy. Till that hernia started killing me. Man, what am I doing here? Oh, that's why. I had that other one too tight. Still can't get to it. Did I pull it the wrong way? Problem is I can't see down on it. To see just from my thread. This is the only one that gives me a problem too. The rest of them start right away. It's because it's hidden. Man. Oh, that's what's going on there. The bracket's tilting back and it's shooting my bolt backwards. Still, why are you not starting? It's just wanting me to really lean in there, that's all. Get this thing. Oh, I think I had. Ah, damn it. Give me a second, guys. I don't want to keep wasting. Hang on. All right, I wanted you guys to see this with the carb off because I am going to check all that stuff we said we're going to check on it and check that thing out. Worked out pretty good. I can get this gimbal to quit. Yeah. Worked out really nice. That's from 2 pictures. Put it in the 360 and create a little bracket for us. Oh, and by the way, the reason why that bolt wasn't going in there, it was a different size one. So leave it to Beaver. So anyways, I got the carb off. I'm gonna go through it real quick and check everything. Make sure we ain't got to take it back. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's just something loose, or like I said, if it is a diaphragm tore on one of the accelerator pumps, I got a little kit. One of these kits here. Where'd I put them? Right here. So these are the ones that my neighbor had. I was letting him borrow them, but it's got squirters, diaphragms, and then my other one's got all the jets and stuff in it. So we'll get it working instead of waiting for the, a new one to come and go through all that crap. I don't know. I was just upset. It shouldn't be bad. You know what I mean already? Or it should work is what I'm saying. So yeah, what else was it I wanted to say real quick? Oh, well, I don't know. So I'll bring us back here when I got the carburetor over on the bench over there. And, oh yeah. So yeah, I'm going to take this, like I said before, and I'm going to wrap it with that cloth tape, just so we don't have a yellow wire there. That way when we put it back all together and tidy it up, it'll look good. So yeah, give me a few. I'll bring you back when we're over there at the bench in the other shop. Okay, let me show you what I found out here. So, yep, that's the one. I'm going to try to show you guys what's going on here. these are the float bowls off that carburetor. Now these things go right down in this little center hole here, and it's kind of like a, when the accelerator pump works, the fuel comes through this little hole, and then it keeps it like nice and pressurized in there. Well, some reason, whoever made this carburetor, they drilled the crap out of that hole, and that shouldn't pull out that easy. So I don't have the other one apart, but it works okay. So the guy that owns the car, so anyways, we checked to see if we could return this. I'm outside of the window by a small amount of time, which is terrible. This has less return time than anything on Amazon, so I think like car parts are very low. So if you guys are buying car parts from AutoZone or Amazon, watch your return windows. So anyways, we looked up at Jegs. They got these 2 replacement Holley ones for a very inexpensive price. And let me just show you how it's supposed to work. Because in order for that to work right, alright, so I take a little bit of this, it's just a multi-purpose, like a siliconized oil, and I'll put a little bit right on that area there where it slips through the hole, and then I'll start it by hand. I'll put it in there and start it by hand. Now you can already see, let me show you, that it won't even push down in there because the hole is the correct size. So then I'll come on this side of it with these, and I'll pull up on that little part there until it snaps through. And it was just like a snap. So you can't even take that out now because it's in there the right way, the way it should be. Just like that inside there. It just fits through, and it's got like a little step in it where it keeps it in there. So that part's good now. So now what we'll do is, I've got a couple of different accelerator pumps here. These green ones are supposed to be very good. I don't see any cracks in them. I've had these for a little while. Normally if they get like hard and they'll start to crack and stuff, but these seem to feel okay. And of course I got the ones that were in it. I think we'll just put one in it and try it. I think I'm gonna put this green one in it. So what it is you'll put the spring goes down first, and then the accelerator pump sits on top of that, or the accelerator pump. This is the cover. It sits with the arm part towards the outside. Now here's another thing. Let me see if the threads on this one, yeah, we got to use these other ones. Even the threads on their bowls are different from the ones Holley screws are. So I'm going to have to use these Holley screws in it. I had some spare ones. Yeah, see, it goes right down in there. I don't know if we talked about that yesterday, me and the guy that owns this car. I was like, they even threaded that different. What it is these guys, other countries, they'll buy a Holley, they'll take it back to their factory, they'll make castings of everything, and they'll make it into their own, and they have little kids putting them together and whoever else for a couple bucks an hour, and that's what you get. So if you're trying to save a few bucks on one of these carburetors, and just be prepared if you got to do some work to it. If you're not mechanically inclined to do so, I recommend just buying the Holley. The part you know is going to work for you. Get in there. Okay, so that's put together. I'll snip that remainder off. I'll put my float in here, and this is ready. And there's so much pressure in that right now. It's working the way it should. I mean, very good. Before, when I did that, you could plug the hole where the fuel pushes through, and it just went inside here. It wasn't holding no pressure. That's going to create that hesitation when you give it the gas, because the fuel doesn't squirt right away. That hits that arm with when you give it the throttle, and the air just disperses through here. Finally, a little bit of fuel goes through it, and that's what you go boom, 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 boom.
Do that again.
Boom, boom, boom. Like a hesitation. So essentially, this bowl's no good unless you have somebody fill that full shut with a weld, re-drill it to a smaller size. You could take that shut and redo all that, but I got other bowls in there, so these are just worthless. But they're nice because they got the sight glass in them. So I'm going to keep them just in case, and the new ones have the sight glass as well. So I'm going to finish putting the rest of this back together. If you guys want to see something like that later on, because I just built this one for his other car. And this one, he bought from a person, I rebuilt it all, got it. I put it on the gold card to try it out. Everything worked good. I realized the nipple was missing for the vacuum advance for the distributor. Somebody broke it off of the primary plate. So once again, we had to go to Jegs 2 days ago and buy two new primary plates, or primary and secondary plates for this Holly for his other car. It worked beautifully. I put it on that car. It worked, revved nice. Everything turned out well with this. So, but it's ready to go on his other car. I'm going to have him bring it by here so we can bolt it on there. He was having a real bad problem with the car overheating, and he tried everything. And I don't know why it slipped my mind, but I said, go back and pull a plug out of that thing and see if they're white. And sure enough, he pulled them out, and they was just white as can be, like brand new. I said, I knew it, you know. So the car was running too lean. When it runs lean, it's going to overheat with it, you know, in the summertime, especially when it's real hot out. So the car, it was undercarbureted, to say the least. So anyways, I said, let's just put a bigger carburetor on it, and we'll get it back to where it needs to be at, and I'll jet to that motor, just like I'm doing here. I'll put this back together when it's running good. We'll clean the plugs up, run it down the road, and we want it like a chocolatey brown, the plug, after it's all said and done. So this may come off a couple more times. I'm going to start out with a jet size I think will work for the car, for a stock type motor. You know, it's got a little bit of stuff on it, little intake or whatnot, but I'll start out kind of in the middle, and we'll go from there, and then we'll jet from there. So I'm gonna get it back together. I'll bring you back when I'm putting it back on the car. All right, you guys, we got it all put back together. I got it kind of where I think the jetting should be. I put 68s in the front and 72s in the rear. We'll see. We'll see how close I am. Yeah, we'll get it back on, we'll fire it up, and hopefully we're sitting pretty good for right now. I got to pull my truck in. It's created another water leak. That thing, buddy, it's just eating up the best of me. Non-stop, let me tell you. This, I don't know if these bowls are deeper than the other ones, because my fuel line, I had to loosen up the side-to-side part of it to get the other parts to start, and then tighten those back up, and so it kind of sucked it together. So I don't know. Hopefully that's all okay. I think it is, but I usually run around, put on my vacuums, fuel lines, stuff I don't want to forget. Because once I tighten down these bolts, I love that bracket. It makes everything real quick. Put the springs on. All right, let's tighten her up. All right, I'm gonna grab a ratchet just to snug these down by hand. I don't want to overdo it. And we're ready. We'll fire it up. Give me a few. Okay. All right, fuel line's tight. Vacuum here, vacuum there. Throttle. All these are tight. I already checked them on the bench. These are tight. All right, let's get this fired up. I got some tools in here. I'm gonna let it back down a little bit. I had to raise it up because of so I have a decent lean over for my hernia situation. The things you gotta do for it. Might take a minute because of the fuel to get up there, or to fill the bowls up. Check for fuel leaks real quick. Check my fuel bowls. The back one's a little high. Let's see if our acceleration's any better. Oh yeah. The electric choke works. front one's got to come up a little bit, the back one's got to go down a hair. I'm going to adjust those real quick, and then that's about all I'm going to do for right now. I'm going to pull it out so I can check my truck, and then I'll bring it back in and bring you guys back when I'm doing that. It's idling good. All right, the carb's in good shape. We're getting ready to raise it up and start taking the transmission out. It's got a bunch of leaks in it, so I'm going to pull it out. First, we'll drain it first. Pull it out. I got a front rear seals, just some new seals for it, some gaskets. Try to get it to quit. So let me get this raised up. I'll get resituated with the, I don't know if I got my, yeah. I'll get resituated with the cameras and everything, and then we'll get you underneath the car. Give me a few. So here's where we're at. I got the drive shaft out, the emergency brake cable. I've got all the torque converter bolts out, the starter off, the linkage off. The lines are broke loose. I'm gonna wait till I get the jack underneath here and take this cross member out of the way, get it down a little bit because they're leaking. I think the tranny's over full. I got to remove the speedo cable yet and all the bolts around the bell housing. Okay, it's going to be tough to kind of do this with the camera stuff, so I'm going to do it like I'm doing it right now. I'll show you steps because it's very greasy. I think he's got the tranny over foot filled. So, because when I took the drive shaft out, there's 2 quarts on the ground here and it's still pouring out. It shouldn't do that. So that could be why the seals blew out, or why they're leaking so bad, and they are wore out, so now it's just pouring out of it. Either way. But anyways, I'm going to get the tranny on a jack and down from the motor and get that situated, and I'll bring you guys back when we're doing the actual seal changing. Like I said, because it's going to be tough to do all that, but just as I showed you, there's only the bolts left in the bell housing, the speedo cable, and the lines, and once I get the cross member off here, then I can pull it back. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so let me get some of this mess out of the way here. That thing leaked. I swear there's at least two quarts or so in there. That thing had a ton. Oh man, it's still leaking on my head. Well, I ain't got no other rags. Let me try to see if I can't get this down a little bit. Yeah, it's still going. Unbelievable. Try to tilt it forward some. It's gonna leak. Now I got this line stuck in here. I probably should have, let me see here, hold on. I need to go back this way. I probably should put my chains on it. It's going. There we go. What am I hung up on? Oh, and it's probably gonna leak here more with this. There we go. Now we can go down. Oh boy, it's leaking everywhere. I can't believe how full it is. Let me try to go. Get out of there. What's it hung up on over there? Is it just the, there we go. Got it going at an angle. This stuff's all over me. Go down easy. I'm caught up on them lines. I'll probably take them out when we put it back in. That way I ain't got to fool with it. All right, I'm gonna get this in the other shop, pull the converter out of it, and get the clean up a little bit, get the engine stand. I'm gonna try to mount this to my engine stand, so I may have to make some kind of adapter for it. And that way I can spin it around, do things to it, and whatever we gotta do. So give me a few, I'll be back shortly. Okay, I'm gonna pull this flywheel off because I think the rear main seal is leaking. And if that's the case, we're gonna see what, I don't know. I'm gonna have to probably drop the pan so I can get to the rear main cap, and we'll see. Let's see what it looks like. Oop. About put it on the camera, the other one. All right, let me grab a light. Yeah, she's got a leak there. Okay, so we're gonna have to deal with that. I'm changing the oil in this, so I'm gonna go ahead and drain it, let it drain down, and then we'll start pulling the pan bolts out. I think I can get that pan off down through the front without having to move or lift this engine up, I hope.
Hopefully.
If not, we're gonna have to figure out a way to do that. So, meantime, I'm gonna get it draining, and I got the guy that owns the car, he's going to get some floor dry and a couple of things so we can clean on the transmission to change that stuff out. I gotta try to look for some numbers on this motor because we don't know if it's a 289 or a 302, but it looks like by the looks of this back of this engine, like it was just rebuilt. I mean, everything looks newer. Just all of it. The casting of the motor looks clean, like somebody had it hot tanked, and it sure runs like it. It runs so smooth. So I don't know. I need to look around for some casting numbers and try to come up with because the guy that he got it from, he didn't really know. And it did have the upper valve covers were leaking, and I resealed those and redid them. Those are stopped. You can see nothing's coming down from those anymore. But it used to come down the back of the motor there. So that was one leak, and it was pretty bad. I mean, you could watch it drip down the side of this motor here, and it was pretty bad. So I think this one here and what we're doing to the trainee will solve all of his leaks. He's got one other one back here. Let me take you back here. Hold on. On the, and I don't know if that's that, because where it's coming down, it's kind of strange. It's wet right here. And if you look at the top here where the overflow or the vent is, nothing's leaking there. So I don't know if that's just blowing from the transmission, from the trainee leak and back this way. But I don't see nothing else throughout the, underneath this thing. Back here where the rear of the trainee was leaking, the tail shaft seal, it's wet. But I don't know. It's kind of strange. I saw that back there, and I was like, I don't know why that's just in that area. It's almost like the rear end has some kind of a deal going out. Something wrong in the housing right where the weld's at or something. I'm not sure, but it is a little wet here. It could be blowing. It could be blowing this way and just spurting it like that. I don't know, because up around here where the gasket is, I don't see anything wet. Around here where the seal's at, nothing's wet. So it's strange. Anyways, we'll look into that later. That's really not that big of a leak back there. So we'll deal with that. So for now, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil down so I can pop this pan off, and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm doing that until he gets back with the stuff I need for the transmission part. So I'll bring you back shortly. Hopefully she keeps on coming out that easy. I don't think so, Jack. Oh boy. So we're gonna have to figure out a trickery here. I'm gonna have to think about it, but I might have to get get the car back down on the ground and get the engine hoist out, try to pull the bolts on the mounts and just lift it straight up a little bit, enough to release that out of there. And yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that because I need to do this where I can get back to it. We'll figure it out. Let me just think about it a little bit and we'll figure out a way here. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to the other shop where the trainee's at, and I'll take you guys over there. We'll deal with this later, but we know now that we have to, get that out of there, or take the motor up a little bit. So I'll be back over there at the other shop. All right, we got all this cleaned up. I just did it with some brake clean. Took the pan off, replaced the filter. So now let's get the filter or the pan back on it. That way we can set it back on the jack. And then we'll pop out the seals and whatever else I think there's some motor rings behind this, but I'm not sure how to get through all this without taking apart like inner stuff. So, but this wasn't leaking, so I don't even know if I'm gonna fool with that. I don't want to create a problem if it's not one there. So, okay, so all I use on my pans, I've had good success with this, is either the right stuff or the ultra black. And then I'll just lay a nice bead all the way around this sucker. Good thing about this is it won't, there's no gasket in here to smash out of the sides. When you tighten this one, it'll form, you know, this stuff here will flatten out and form to where it needs to form. And you can't mess it up. And it does stick and work good. I've done this for years. I'll swear by this. And as long as you just get it on that back edge, it'll seal. So you don't have to worry about the front. It'll smash into the front of it. But the main thing is back here where the fluid's going to come from. You want to make sure you get it real good. Don't overdo it, because when you tighten it up, this stuff's going to come out. So, but once it dries, by the time we get it back in the car and the fluids in it and everything and blah blah blah, it'll be setting up. So don't worry about it getting in the part or areas that it shouldn't be in. All right, so we're going to take a couple of them. I think it goes on that way. Hope I can get behind that chain. I got it out of there. May have to finagle with it a little bit. Get some of these back ones started. And this side ones. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my screwdriver so I can try to get this pan up behind it. Grab a couple more bolts. This is not the ideal way with it on the jack like this, but it's what I had to work with. Oh, just a little bit more. Get on out of there. Oh, come on. Oh, it's just a tiny bit. When I took it off, it come right out of there. Try to get behind it here. Oh, I might have it. There we go. Get them things started. Don't you come off. Matter of fact, I'll leave that in there for a second. Let's get these all started. I'm gonna get these started and I'll bring you back when I'm tightening it up so we can talk about that. Give me a second. All right, we got them all snugged up with the ratchet. Now I'm just gonna kind of go and make sure they're nice and snug. You don't need to do anything else but that, because that stuff's gonna dry and it's gonna make it nice. I just, when I'm using this gasket material, I just kind of go around it and snug them up. That's it. You can see kind of where it comes out of the side a little bit. Don't mess with it. Just leave it there and let it dry. That's probably going to be a pain in the butt right there. I may need it. Oh, maybe not. No, we'll get to them. See if I can get to this one. Yep. Couple more down here. Oop, my ratchet slipped. Double share. I did this one. Okay, we got those good and snugged up. I'm gonna pull this thing out of the way. We'll get this back on our stand, our jack. All right, hang on one second. I'm gonna move this around. Yeah, I cleaned the outside of it with brake clean also. And it did a wonderful job. It usually does. I gotta try to keep this pushed back a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna unhook these chains real quick. I'm gonna get this jack out of the way. And I'll bring you back here. I'm gonna get all this stuff we need for the to do the seals with. Give me a few minutes. Okay, we got our engine, or our training back on here. Let's pop this one out. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you something else I do that I've been doing forever. First things first, let's make sure our seals match up. Yep, they look right. Make sure the insides look good or close, as you can tell. I mean, they'll be off if they're going to be off, but these look right on. Okay, once again, I don't know why, but for years, I always put me a little bit, just a little smear on the part that goes in there. And I'll put that around my finger. I don't know why, it just makes me feel more comfortable by doing this. And I can honestly say that I've never had them leak. On rear ends, on trainees, on whatever I'm putting them in, timing covers, doesn't matter. I just put a little bit around it, clean off some of the excess. And I've got a seal knock kit and all that stuff somewhere. I'm doing this like this because many people don't have that. So there's no need to go out and buy that stuff. I've been doing it for years without it. So, but through the years I bought one, a little kit, you know what I mean? It does make it nice because it starts it better, quicker, straighter, I don't know what you want to say. You can also use like which we might end up doing here, if I don't get this defeated here real soon. You got to catch that one spot. Come on. Oh, I thought I had it. All right, let me go get a socket. Hang on 1 second. All right, let's try it again. I got a socket here. Now I don't have a big enough hammer. Works every time. I'm going to show you, hang on, how this is all came out around this edge. So now I know that if for some reason there was some kind of a little divot or something on that edge where it goes around this, that it's going to seal with that sealer. And that's why I do that. So, all right, we got that on. We got our pan back on, new filter, cleaned up. Let's get the front one out. Give me a few. All right, guys, for in here, I don't know how else you would do this other than pull the pump out. And still, you got to have, something to pull us out of here. So one of these is probably going to be a must because I don't know how else you're going to do it without one of these. But they're not that much. That's all you do right there. And it pops it out nice. And, I mean, like I said, I don't know how else you would do it, doing it like this anyways. And I don't even know from the back. No, it's like a lip there, so you need one of these for sure, but this is all they are. If I remember, I'll put a link to one of these that are fairly inexpensive. This is from Snap-on, but you don't need, I got this years ago. I've had this for back probably in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, I'd say, and I still got it, but you don't use it every day. But even if you did, you're just popping seals out with it, you know what I mean? You could probably make something. You know what I mean? If you get on the internet, look for a picture, just kind of like how I do all this stuff, these chairs I'm building, get a picture, get some measurements, and trace it out on a piece of 1/8 inch steel, cut it out with however, file it down, make it. There you go, you got your wrench. You don't even got to buy one. You know what I mean? You could probably make one of them. I'd say for sure you could. So, anyway, but I'll still post the link to a fairly inexpensive one. That way, I know some people don't like looking for that crap. All right, same way. I already prepped it with I put some sealer on it. Now I hope that goes, nope. Okay, now this is gonna be a little trickier here. We're gonna need, let's see. Man, I had a tube. Wonder what I'd done with that. Let me go find that, hang on 1 second. Piece of 2.5 inch exhaust pipe. If you ain't got one, this just to make life easier. Run down to the exhaust shop, ask them for a cutoff. They'll give it to you for free. And if you want to, if you have a welder, weld your little plate on there or something, or use a piece of wood, or don't do anything. Just use the end of it. Just put it right over it. It's easier if you have something there, but let me go get something for the back of it. Hang on. All right, guys. One thing I didn't do, like I showed you on the back one, take your old one and match it up. Well, this one is slightly smaller. That's why it wasn't popping right in. So I'm gonna have to run down, get the correct one, wipe off our excess here on the edge that we just got on it, just so it don't dry up on us. Yeah, and what's weird is that the kit is for a C4. How many different pumps they made for the front of it? God knows. evidently there's more than one, because there it is. If you could see that, you could see it's just slightly bigger than the old one. And it won't go on there no matter what you do. I mean, you try and force that on there, you're gonna have, it's never gonna go on there. It's just, it's completely way bigger than the outside of it even. So yeah, if you take your old one, I was just thinking, if you take your old one and set it there, it almost fits right in there. Look at it. So that's how we can definitely tell it's the wrong one. All right, so now I gotta pause and get a number off of this and go try to find the correct one. I'm sure they have it. It just sucks you gotta go through all this. Yeah, here's the number. It's PI or PL 6550, and then A is for Apple. Let's see if this one's got one on it. Of course, that's black. You can't even see it. No. So you know what's going on here, guys, right? I bet anything our kit is made somewhere other than America. What do you guys think? Put it down in the comments. Think it's made here? Mm-mm. All right. I'm going to go find one of these. I'll be back. Kick you guys back on as soon as I get back. All right, guys. Let me take you in here and show you. So I went ahead and done the rear main seal and all the pan stuff off camera. It was just too much work to be putting on this. But we got it all back on. Everything's sealed up nice. Of course, we ain't started it yet. Hopefully it don't leak. Got all that back together. The transmission, they're still waiting on that seal. As soon as I get it, I'll bring you guys back. We'll pop it in and it's ready to go in. I gotta change the oil filter. I haven't swapped that out yet. That's about it. Like I said, as soon as the seal comes, we'll change it out. Let me move this thing. Yeah, that's about it, guys. So as soon as that seal comes, we'll swap it out and get the filter changed out. We'll get the transmission back in it, fill it up with some fluids, and hopefully all of our leaks are gone. And we can drop it back down and get this baby out of here. He's probably ready to drive this thing. I think I got a call about some wheels. Hang on. He's wanting to order some of those torque thrust. I think they're called a torque thrust. There's like 3 or 4 different kinds. I can't think of the ones. They're torque thrust wheel, American Racing torque thrust wheel, and it's got the gray, gray in the center. The spoke part is gray, and the outer lip is like aluminum. But he's wanting to put those on this thing, and I think that'll make it look pretty cool. So I got to check on that still, and that'll probably be the very last thing we do, and then this will be done. On the side, I've been working on his green car, the Charger. I showed you guys the carburetor we redone in the last video, and so I took it over there, put it on. We're waiting for some I can't think. Oh, the A&N fitting for the fuel line. The one they gave us had a little thing in it for a fuel filter, for a fuel gauge, and it had a little nipple thing in there to plug it off with, but that thing just went all the way to the bottom and it restricted the fuel flow, so that was kind of junk there. So I ordered one that didn't have that, just a solid A&N T, and it should be here today. We can go put it in, get that adjusted out, and that car is done. So kind of a bunch of things going on here, there, everywhere. The seat build, I'm finishing the Vice video, bunch of stuff. My truck, the engine blew up in it. I'm waiting for the place I bought the engine to call me and tell me that the engine's pulled out so we can go get it. Because once this car's fired up and ready to pull out, I'll probably pull it out while we're waiting to get the wheels, and then get the motor pulled out of the truck so we can get the other motor in it. Because I'm off of work right now. This is the only work I got. And luckily Ernie's wanting to get stuff done to these cars, or I wouldn't be making any money. So anyhow, when the seal gets here, and the seal, and then we'll change the oil filter out, the seal, get the training back in it. So see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, we ran into a little dilemma. I think I showed you guys that the last one was too big. Well, the reason being, this transmission only came in a couple of years of, well, this one's out of a 74 LTD. And what it is, it's called a Drive-O-Matic. So if you put it down in drive, it starts out in second. It kind of helps for like winter and wet roads so you don't, slip when you take off. But it's kind of a strange deal. when he first got the car, if you go back into my other videos on this car, it was only working in low gear. Only 2 gears was working. So I had to adjust the, I made a new linkage piece, and I'll show you that when we're putting it back together. And now they all work, but the only thing we still got to finish is the linkage for the kickdown to work. But the transmission all works. It's just that deal they did there with that Drive-O-Matic thing. So we had to, luckily found this. The guy over at Napa that I deal with, we kind of collaborated together, and boom, we came up with it and figured out what was going on. So C4, it is a C4, but Drive-O-Matic, you have to do that because this pump is different. The back seal was the same. If you guys remember, we popped it right in. So let me put a little bit of stuff around the edge here, like we do. We'll get this put in here, and then get this puppy up in the car. Yeah, so that kind of held us up. And I didn't think about that when I ordered the seal kit for this thing, that was going to be an issue. I thought C4 is C4. I'm not a big transmission guy by any means, let alone to know that, you know, those seals is different. Yeah, we couldn't even get it started, if you guys remember, right? This should go right in. Make sure it's all in. Probably should have got a bigger hammer. That's okay. I'm going to grab a little solid punch just to make sure that's all in there even. Give me a few. That's just something, I make these all the time, and I try to harden them. Kind of feel around, make sure, seems okay. I think we're good. Okay, let's go ahead and get our converter back in. Let me go grab a little bit of some stuff to put around that so the seal's not dry going around it. I'm going to use some of this same stuff that I use on all my stuff. It's a good all-around lubricant, and it's got like a silicone base. Just keeps it nice, and so it ain't going in there, you know, where that seal's all dried up. All right, hopefully we don't make a big mess here. These things are fun. Come on, get in there.
Giddy up, horsey!
Okay, I think we're in. Try to clean up what we can here. All right, so you want that, as soon as you spin it, it locks in there. And then you want these studs inside past the housing, and then we'll line those up in the car. Yep, I think I got it all cleaned up. All right, I'm gonna get this over there. I'll bring you guys back over there. All right, that's gonna be a little noisy, guys. Let's feed these through. Actually, hang on a second. All right, guys, I loosened those lines up on the radiator there, and it's leaking. We'll clean it up. Getting fluid all over my clean transmission. Try to hurry up and get that down. I think that went right in there. Almost sure. Yep, it did. Just kind of had to go in at an angle. Let me see what I think we're clear of everything. Things started, so we ain't leaking the whole time. There we go. I thought I had a rag down here. Try to catch these. Well, let me look and see where my try to line this up the best. Okay, well, right about there. We was kind of close. Real close. Right there's almost one. Let me tilt this way. And we are almost there, guys. As far as the converter goes. Let me see where I'm at on my dowel rod. On my pins. Where are they at? I think we need to drop the front down a little bit and go up some more. We're real close. Yeah, that's that. I think we're up just a hair. Right there. A little bit more. Oops, too much. Am I in? I think I am. Let me try to start one. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're in that one. Yep, we're there, you guys. All right, I'm gonna start these, tighten them up. I'll bring you back when we're going forward. Give me a few. All right, guys, let's do this before this battery dies. I got it all back in. I got my brake on. Everything's hooked up. I have to, oh, my linkage. It's not quite on. I don't have it on yet, but the one I made, I was telling you guys I was going to show you that. So here's the new piece. The one that was on there, it was all bent up and weird looking, and it wasn't getting low gear. So you put it all the way down in low gear and it wasn't getting it. So I made a new one. But anyhow, I'm going to finish putting that on there, get it on the ground, and we'll get this thing fired up, test it out. Give me a few. Sorry guys, that battery died. I don't know if it caught the end or not. I'll know when I edit it, but I'm going to do a little cleanup here. And then I'm going to check all the fluids, make sure, you know, all that stuff's good to go. And then we'll get the car dropped down. I'll bring you guys back, and hopefully all of our leaks are fixed, and he'll be happy. So give me a few, and we'll clean these up, and I'll bring you guys back. All right, guys, let's go under here. Okay, we got it all back together. I got the fluids filled up. So far, so good. I ran it through all the gears. Everything is looking kind of dry. Got the linkage all back on. All this looks good. The rear main seal job looks good so far. No leaks around that. All this stuff looks pretty good. No pan gasket leaks, nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take it out on the road. I'm going to take you guys along with me. We're going to go cruise it, bring it back, recheck the fluids, see how they are, raise it back up, check it again. Now, this dipstick deal here, I don't know if it's correct, because I've got, so this C4s call for 7 to 8 quarts of fluid, they say dry. All right, so the converter had, hang on a second. Okay, so the converter had fluid in it, so it wasn't dry. I added, I think it was 6 quarts. Okay, I'm almost sure it was 6 quarts. I know that converter had at least 2 in it, because they hold at least that much. So my thing is, and the stick's showing no fluid on it. My thing is, there was a problem with this in the beginning, with it being super over full, and so everybody probably just looked at the stick on where it was supposed to be full, and I'd say they overfilled it about 3 quarts, maybe 4 quarts, because when we emptied that, it had, well, I can see it from here, it's filled almost to the middle of a 5-gallon bucket, so that's 2.5 quarts there, a bunch spilled on the ground. I'd say that it's like 3 quarts over full by the time you make that mark on that dipstick, so it's not correct. That's why I said we're going to go drive it, and see what the, if it's shifting fine and all that, I'm going to tell them don't fool with it, because as we've seen, it was very full. So let me get this thing back on the ground, and I'm going to clean up a little bit. I'll bring you guys with me, we'll go cruise it. All right, guys, we got it out of the garage. First time we've cruised it since we did all this stuff, so let's see how it feels. And then we're gonna, like I said, we'll come back and check it. It's got a little hesitation in it. I'm wondering if that just still ain't in the jetting, because after you take off, it does good. Ride's good. I ain't drove it since we did the balancing either. I'm gonna try to take off them first here. See if our linkage still is coming. Yep, it's working. See, that time it took off okay. Nah, we got a little hesitation. I don't know if that's like flooding out. We'll adjust on it. We'll get it right. Yeah, we got all the gears now. Speedometer works. All the gears work. Yeah, that's kind of strange. It's almost like the float levels are too high. It's dumping too much fuel. You know, it could be those sprayers. I need to put those sprayers back on it. This carburetor's been an issue ever since we put it on here. I'll tell you, it's a flat out headache. We're actually I'm gonna swing by the guy's house just to let him know I at least got it on the road, but I got to make some adjustments to it. Yeah, if I go into it easy, nah, there's something going on with it. Sorry, I'm trying to manually shift. Yeah, it just falls right on its face. But if I keep feathering it and gutting it, like giving it more fuel, it may still be under jetted. I need to take it back off, put the bigger jets in it, change the squirters out, and try it again. Because I know that one I built for his other car, it ran good on here. It had great acceleration, everything was fine. So this one here still has issues. We'll play with it a little bit longer, and if it doesn't get it, we'll have to figure out something else. I've just wasted so much time on this carburetor. I hate to give up on it, but it just could be flat out something in the, you know, how they made the metering plates. You just don't know these guys, who makes them, who does what. He ain't home. So, all right guys, I'm gonna get it back in the shop, and I'll bring you back here in a second as soon as we get back. All right, so brought it back, got it on the lift, raised it up, checked it all out. Leaks are all good. The fluid levels, they're all good. Well, the training we don't know, but we know it shifts good and everything's fine with it, so I'm not going to put no more in it. So that stick is definitely wrong. We'll probably look for another stick, because I do know that there's at least 7 to 8 quarts in it, so that's what is required. Because I didn't lose probably very teeny bit out of the torque converter, so I'd say we're right around close to 8 quarts, everything. So anyhow, the carb was a little sluggish. I adjusted on it. Everything feels pretty good now. I did some idle air fuel mixture stuff, you know, adjustments, and it feels a ton better. Like I said, no more leaks. Everything's done. The only other thing I'm going to probably do to this car that I don't even know if I'm going to put it on the, you know, make a thing about it or not, a video or not, is he wants to put. I brought it up earlier in the video about some wheels. The torque. I think they're the Torque Masters or Torque Thrust, okay, with the gray centers. So what I'll probably do on that is maybe just post a picture on YouTube on my feed there, an update like that, just so you guys can see what it looks like. Because I'm sure in the future, we are going to put aftermarket air conditioner in it, one of those vintage air systems. So when that happens, I'll bring you guys back. We'll definitely do that, because there's a lot of people that like to see that, I'm sure. But that's about it. It's going to wrap it up here on this video for this. We did the just to kind of briefly go over a few things, but we did the fuel line, we did the resealed the transmission, rear main seal, which I didn't do on there because it's just was a lot of work. I literally had to pull the motor out. I unhooked everything, drained all the water and all that, unhooked all the hoses, and I brought it out on the engine hoist and worked on it right here. And I just took the rear main cap off. It was a 2-piece seal. I got the old one out. It was a pain. I had a wire on a drill, and I was pulling it one way, and finally got it all out and cleaned out in there real good. I went in with my little camera and checked it all up in there real good to make sure. And then on my new seal, I coated it with the right stuff and fed it up through there, and put the new one on the bottom one. Re-put that back on, retorqued it, resealed all the pan stuff, and it's so far so good. What else did we do? We did a bunch of stuff. The carburetor, the distributor, we converted it. We made that coil plate. That turned out real cool. Please put your guys' comments down below there. Let me know what you think about all this stuff, man. I know there's quite a stuff I left off during the process. If you guys want to see more of that type of stuff, let me know down there, and I'll make longer videos on what you guys are wanting to see more of. You know what I mean? Because if we did everything, the full part of everything, these videos would be 3-4 hours long. You know what I mean? So it's just too much. So. But once again, guys, I really appreciate everything. Hey, go check out the last video I just posted on the before this one on the that Viper chair I just made. It is awesome. It really is. And then the part 2 is getting ready to come out where we're finishing it up. But go check that out. Thank you so much, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and hang in there with me. This channel is going so far. So thank you so much, guys. Till the next one.